Thank you so much for joining us today. Really
Of course.
happy to meet you. And first off, how are you doing? How are you holding up during this incredibly challenging time?
I'm doing quite well. I cannot complain. I've been staying creative and healthy, and I'm very lucky. So in my own little bubble, I'm doing pretty good.
And how are you staying creative? This is a conference that we're throwing for millions of creative people across all different kinds of disciplines, including film. So I'm sure people would love to hear how you're staying creative during this time.
Right. Well, I mean, that is a good question. I think for me, part of staying creative, I mean, it wasn't necessarily easy. I think, I definitely went through a lot of different things. I tried painting and I bought a piano to try to teach myself piano, which has been going all right.
Wow.
I know a couple things. It could be better. I have some improvements still left to do.
Do you have a teacher? Or are you
I
teaching
don't. I've been
yourself,
just trying
literally?
to teach myself. I
Wow.
download an app and try to and try to get my friend who knows some things to teach me things as we go, which has been, like I said, I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring it out.
Impressive.
A big part of, I think, staying creative is kind of having my creative circle of collaborators and continuing that contact with them and seeing what they've been up to. And one of those people for me has always been Sam Levinson, who is the writer and creator of Euphoria, and he's like family to me. And we just had a lot of talks during this time, whether it was just about life or Euphoria or what we wanted to create when it was, I think, safe to do so. And out of that birthed a little movie that we were able to do inside of quarantine, which was, I think, one of the things I'm most proud of. And I think this was one of the first times that I think, because I wasn't really able to do what I've done my whole life as far as just being busy, it kind of pushed me to trust myself a little bit more when it comes to my creative instincts or things that I want to create and make, and trust that feeling of knowing that something is good or something that, or feeling inspired or compelled in a creative way to make something. And I was just very grateful that, Sam was down to write me something, when we were able to do it safely and, create this little this very tiny bubble that we did, which we worked with a lot of people who also kind of were out of work because Euphoria had also kind of gone down as well. So
can you tell me at all about the project that you did during COVID?
Yeah. It's a two-hander, really. It's just two people in one space. We shot this movie with a very, very small crew of people in a home, and like I said, we kind of created this bubble. Nobody was able to leave or go anywhere, and everybody was doing 4 jobs at once because it was minimal people. So, trying to remember things like continuity and stuff like that was up to us because we didn't have a script supervisor, an AD. We were just kind of winging it as we went, doing my own hair and makeup. But it was very fun. It was really, really fun in that sense. And we got to shoot it, in black and white on film. And
fun.
Yeah, it was a beautiful experience, and really being able to workshop something and spend that time with something. And we were all quarantined together, so we really kind of just were this kind of detached little bubble of our own.
A pod.
Yeah, a little pod, if you will. That was just, really, really special for me. And I'm very grateful that we were able to make it happen safely.
So can we talk a little bit about Euphoria?
Yeah.
It's an extraordinary show. It's so important, but it's also, I think, so real. And the way you guys did it is it's unbelievable. So how did you decide to do this project? This is a hard project.
Euphoria really, I think it chose me as much as I chose it. I read it and immediately kind of fell in love with the script. And it wasn't a hard decision, as I think many would assume it was. It just felt like something I had to be a part of, and I was really just invested in all of the characters, and I wanted to know what happened to them, and I wanted to know like I don't really enjoy reading scripts. And it was one of the first scripts that I read where I just couldn't stop turning the page. And I think Sam's gift of writing, but also his gift of vulnerability, I think, kind of sharing a lot of himself and his battles with addiction through Rue, I think is incredibly brave and beautiful. And I just feel lucky to kind of be able to tell her story.
And you're going to do it again?
Yes. Unfortunately, obviously, we kind of came to a bit of a stop when we were going to start season 2. But we were able to kind of create these 2, we're calling them like bridge episodes or like Christmas specials. But these 2 episodes that were we just wrapped up that will air kind of between seasons. Not really a first season, not really a second season, but something to kind of give some insight into where the characters are right now and give people something to hold on to, because obviously we won't be able to get back to it for quite a little bit. And I personally, I miss the characters. I love Rue. I love being able to play her. She's such a full, special, dynamic person. And I have such a I would almost call it like a connection to her, or like I don't know. I always kind of explain it as her being my little sister, or her being someone that I know. But she feels very, very close to me, and I care very much about her. So I always get excited when I get to be Rue again. So hopefully I get to don the hoodie and the Chucks soon enough.
You can tell from your performance how authentic you feel in that role. It really comes through.
Thank you so much.
It's amazing. So let's talk about something a little lighter. Fashion.
Yes.
So you have become like this amazing fashion icon. And I wanted to ask you like who your favorite designers are. And I think I saw someone that maybe you're designing clothes now too.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite designer so much as I love clothes. And I love fashion. I love being able to experiment with fashion. I think it's really what it's allowed for me to do is really explore different facets of who I am. And it helped me kind of care less and less about what other people thought. Because every time I kind of go out on the red carpet, in my own way, I always feel like I'm creating like these characters, which I think kind of feeds into my love of acting or something. But I create like these little characters or whatever. And yeah, fashion I think is to me it's emotional, and it's so much more than just like clothes or whatever. It really has given me a sense of like of confidence for sure. I think I've definitely been able to find a lot of that through fashion, and I think I've been lucky enough to kind of be also on like the more behind the scenes creative like part of the fashion world. I did this collaboration. It's a little over a year now ago with Tommy Hilfiger, which was really special, where they basically let me be the creative director of it for
How was that?
2 seasons. Well, it was really special. I mean, I got to bring my fashion soulmate, which is La Roche, who is also my stylist since I was 14 years old. And creatively, as far as fashion-wise, we do everything together. And that was so fun just because Tommy really allowed us the space to just run free with it. He really gave us the keys and let us just like do what we wanted. And kind of coming up with the creatives, not just for the clothes, which is one thing, but for the shows and the lookbooks and the campaigns. I mean, it was so fun. He really said, like the first time I talked to him, he said, every detail you can be a part of, you can decide. And he definitely kept his word. So very, 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 very grateful for that experience. It was really, really special.
So that's interesting that you appreciated the kind of marketing element of it. That's my job all day. And I would say, wow,
the
fact that you would appreciate that is pretty funny.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's interesting. It's part of the whole thing. Even
package.
When it comes to like, I think the business side of the movie world or the theatrical world that I live in. I love learning all parts of the business because at the end of the day, it is show business, so there is the business aspect. And I also, I always urge young creatives and people coming up as well to learn all aspects of the business, really learn what it takes to create and make something.
It's smart. Yeah, I'm always encouraging people to advocate for themselves because it is a business, no matter what part of the business you're in, film, design, photography, everybody has to advocate for themselves.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Very good point. So you just won an Emmy. And, seeing you win that Emmy with your family and friends was just like really kind of moving. What was it like, that moment?
Oh man, it was a big moment. I was grateful enough to be in this living room that I'm looking across at right now. Celebrating with my family. I think that was the most special part for me, is really just having them literally behind, having my back, cheering me on every step of the way. They were extremely excited. Their reaction was real.
You could tell.
Yeah, it was a very honest reaction. But yeah, no, it was a very special night. I mean, still very unbelievable in a lot of ways. I don't know if it'll ever sink in, but it's not a bad thing to look at.
Well, you deserve it.
Thank you.
Your performance deserved it. So
thank you so much.
Just seeing you was really special because you guys were all so excited. And there's an element of being at home that kind of, for people who are watching, it's kind of special to see everyone together as opposed to, a regular award show. So it was fabulous. So I wanted to just talk to you about kind of your career overall. So you're a musician, you're an actor, you're a producer, you are a muse. So how do you decide what you're going to do next?
That's a good question. I don't know how I decide things, because that's always the tough thing. Is I also am very I overthink a lot. When you read something that's right, or when you're in a meeting and it's right, or when you come up with an idea and that it's right, and it's really about not just trusting that, but letting that guide you, I think, in a big way. For me, at least, it has been. And also not letting kind of fear get in the way. I can stop myself from really reaching my potential, because I'm too afraid to kind of mess up or fail or whatever the case may be, So I think it's important in a big way to not be afraid, of your potential in those cases too.
I think a lot of creative people feel that way. And I think that's why your work looks so effortless, because you really think it through. And so to me, I'm sorry that you feel sometimes that fear, but I've got to tell you, the work looks effortless when you see it on the other side.
Thank you so much. Well, sometimes the fear is good, Sometimes the fear can also be, constructive. You don't want to not be afraid,
Exactly.
Sometimes fear can save you from bad decisions.
So I just want to maybe do a thing that I normally do when I do an interview, which is kind of a lightning round.
Okay.
And so to wrap up, I am going to give you, you're going to be great at this, I can tell. I'm going to give you one word, and then you're going to give me one word back.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, this is going to be tough because I'm going to want to say more. But yes.
All right, constrain yourself. Okay. Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Music.
Emotion.
Fashion.
Fearlessness.
Spider-Man.
I just think of the suit.
Rue.
I think, that's a hard one. Empathy.
Zendaya.
I don't know. That's a hard. Myself, that's a hard one. I don't know. Whatever this is, like.
Okay.
Yeah, good dude. I don't know. Human. How about that? Human.
That's good. All right. Thank you so much. And see, I saw your thoughtfulness right there.
Yeah,
where you really
I know.
thought
It's
through
hard.
every word.
It's hard to let it go sometimes. I'm working on it, though. I'm working on it.
All right. Work on it. I really appreciate you being with us, and take good care, and continue to do the great work you do.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me be a part of this. It's pretty cool.
Stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.